Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff Goldblum, and like a fine wine, he seems to have got better with age. Look at him. But Jeffrey has portrayed a character in the MCU that is vastly different from his Korric origin. Not his fault, he didn't write Thor Ragnarok, that's Craig Carl and Christopher Ross, but he may be the biggest nerf of all time, even more so than Darwin. I'm Danny Baker and I'm really ill and this is 6 degrees, but I'm not letting it stop me put a video up. Today we're talking the nerfing of the Grandmaster. What are his comic origins? What's he been up to? How does he get his hair like that? And how different is he in the movies? So the Grandmaster. He's one of the elders of the universe. No, not He-Man when he reaches his 80s. No. They're a bunch of mostly really old people who've been around since the Big Bang and have outlived the rest of their species, which were some of the first species that popped up after the Big Bang. And they've all got cosmic level power. So they're all billions of years old, and they all have names they've given themselves, like the Obliterator, the Challenger, the Possessor, the Collector. Oh, we know him. Ego the Living Planet. Oh, we know him too. They're all very jealous of Galactus, as he's even older than them and more powerful. The random thing about these lot is that they have these basically infinite lifespans and a load of superpowers thanks to the power primordial, some power that was left over from the Big Bang. What most of them do is channel this into their particular obsession. So the Obliterator, he loves hunting and killing, can't get enough of it, hence the name. It may or may not result in a massive oversized chin, I cannot confirm that. The Possessor, he loves possessing knowledge. He's a big old nerd just soaking up information for all time. You've got the Gardener, of course he loves gardening. Spreading his seed, like actual seeds, around the universe, making nice plants and looking like he was drawn by a 10-year-old here. There's the Runner, he loves being free. He can dominate friend of the show Silver Surfer easily and with a cheeky smile on his face. So they're all immortal and they channel this primordial power into various superhuman attributes and mostly just get on with their own thing. But there's a few that like to mix it up with the regular folk like old mate Endwi Gast, aka the Grandmaster. He actually shared the name Grandmaster with his mate early on. Both of them had a love for games and strategies, etc. And they used to spend their time playing super chess or whatever this is. So his mate has dibs on the name Grandmaster, but Endwi Gast has designs on it. So they end up playing for higher and higher stakes, classic cycle of gambling folks, until they play a game where the loser gets wiped from existence. Then, as he disappears into the old fucking void of nothingness for eternity, he hears his old buddy say, I'm the Grandmaster now.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
What a dick move. Anyway, his mate comes back kind of recently with a new name, the Challenger, and he has a bit of a battle using the Black Order, Thanos' gang, to challenge the Grandmaster in Avengers No Surrender, featuring Corvus Glaive. But let's look at who the Grandmaster is. Right off the bat, when you're immortal, you don't need steroids, man. You just go for that lithe look, right? No chicken breast in the middle of the night for Endwi Gast, yeah? Plus, look, you got no time for shifting metal in the gym when you are obsessed with games. He just spends all his years after that dick move playing and learning games, and most importantly, creating challenges and tournaments for people to participate in, sometimes willingly, sometimes not. And usually these games are for a bet against other mega powerful people like Death in the original Contest of Champions. That one was so he could bring the Collector back to life, bless him. So he's kind of like the guy in charge of Squid Game, as well as those fat VIPs betting on Squid Game that were the absolute worst thing about that show. He also has a kid called Vani Gast, or Voyager. God knows who her mum is, I don't think that's ever mentioned. So our mate pops up a lot through Marvel history. He creates the Squadron Sinister at one point, featuring the hilariously named Whizzer, as well as his own version of Hyperion, the mega powerful dude we've mentioned a couple of times. He just makes him out of extra dimensional matter. Mental. The Squadron Sinister being an absolute rip-off of the Justice League. So he takes this Squadron Sinister and he travels to the 31st century where our old friend Kang, see video on him here, he's mourning the loss of his beloved Ravonna. He wishes he could bring her back from the dead and the Grandmaster goes, yeah, I'll give you that power, but only if you beat me. The man is insufferable. So Kang kidnaps some Avengers to take on the Squadron Sinister, then some other Avengers, and it ends with Kang having to choose between giving life to Ravonna, who he loves, or giving death to the Avengers, and he chooses the latter because they wanted to go home and it annoyed him. What a D-bag. At another point, he and the other elders wanted to kill Galactus so that they'd end up with Galactus-like powers, but it didn't work, and 5 of them, including the Grandmaster, were consumed. What with them being immortal though, they gave Galactus indigestion in a ridiculously weird few panels, and a little while later he basically threw them up. Okay. At one point Thanos is after the Infinity Stones, which are all held by the elders. That's the champion. He devotes his time to his body. A bit like Mike O'Hearn. No roids there apparently. So after Thanos embarrasses them all, he finally plays the Grandmaster in a big old game of blast each other in mech suits. Grandmaster cheating a little bit because he knew that Thanos was going to cheat, and he tricks him and ends up getting the last stone. You elders, you biiiiit. He was also involved in one of the many DC Marvel crossover events. This time where he comes across Krona, a DC mega powerful bloke, and he challenges him to, you guessed it, a game. This elder's habit of only doing one thing could get a bit tiresome. This time the Justice League took on the Avengers. Ultimately Krona gets defeated, but not before they're all tricked into thinking they're having an annual party. Superman gets bloody Cap, Shield and Mjolnir. Darkseid gets the Infinity Stones, they don't work though, and the Grandmaster dies. What? But then he was okay, so don't worry. So as mentioned, he's super powerful. You don't see much of it, but he can do things like manipulating cosmic energies, regenerate from any injury, or as we've seen, just stop being dead. He can levitate, teleport, travel through time, space, dimensions, project his voice and image across time and space. He can transmute matter on a planetary scale, kill people just by willing it, reducing them to nothingness with a gesture. He can bring people back to life, not cosmic powered ones though. He can give others his power over life and death. He can interact with hyper fast beings via his control of time and space, and just control matter any way he wants. It's all a bit ridiculous, but these are comics and we love it. So suffice to say, the Grandmaster in the movies is very different. Let's start with basically the only similarity. He has a contest of champions. The comic guy had that, but it was literally like moving Avengers around like chess pieces. In the movie, it's just basically old school Roman Colosseum stuff. He's not as old in the film.
Time works real different around these parts. On any other world, I'd be like millions of years old. But here on Sakaar,
So he's a spring chicken compared to the comics. And that's about it for similarities. He's not got any of those powers I just mentioned. He's stranded on Sakaar, and at the end it looks like he may get taken down by a load of the locals. But it doesn't matter because Jeff Goldblum is fucking amazing in this role. He's not impressed by Thor's lightning.
wow, I didn't hear any thunder, but out of your fingers, was that like sparkles?
We've located your cousin.
He's got a cool melting stick.
You're officially pardoned from life.
He's a DJ.
Asgard. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Unlike the comics, he'll cheat straight away if things don't go his way. He is kind of into slavery, that's a negative.
And the slaves have armed themselves.
I don't like that word.
Which mainframe?
No. Why would I not like mainframe? No, the yes word, yes word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's better, that's better.
But he's got an orgy plane, so that's a positive.
It's my birthday!
So this is for sure one of those the source material was a bit too out there situations. And look, if we get more Jeff Goldblum popping up, because of course he'll survive this ending, then we are all the richer for it. So for now, I've been Danny Baker, this has been 6 Degrees, and I'll see you later.